If you are waiting to feel ready before you ask for that raise, launch that business, or move your savings into a high-growth investment, you are essentially waiting to stay broke. After years of analyzing high-earning women and testing these principles in the financial trenches, I've realized your net worth is directly proportional to the amount of discomfort you are willing to handle. I have tested this. I have sat in the rooms where I felt like the smallest person there. I have pressed send on proposals that made my stomach churn and my palms sweat. And I can tell you, discomfort is the only reliable compass for growth. Let's get real for a second. We've all been raised on this fairy tale that if you just put your head down, do a great job, and follow the rules, the money will eventually find its way to you. That's a lie. Hard work isn't the secret sauce, it's just the entry fee. If you're ending your workday feeling totally relaxed and safe every single day, you aren't actually growing. You're just hovering. I've been there. I've sat in boardrooms where I was convinced everyone was smarter than me, sweating through my blazer, and I realized that the only difference between me and the successful people was that they were better at hiding their nerves. For women in their 20s and 30s, the stakes are incredibly high. Right now, you are in your peak wealth-building years. Yet the good girl syndrome is still holding so many of us back. We're taught to be polite, to be team players, and to wait for a thank you in the form of a bonus. Meanwhile, the cost of living is skyrocketing. If you're sitting there accepting a 3% raise because you don't want to make things awkward, you're effectively losing money. Inflation and the market don't care about your politeness. They only care about math. And the math says that if you stay silent, you're paying a massive comfort tax every single month. Think about the physical reaction you get when you consider asking for 20% more. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, and your brain starts screaming that you're being greedy or difficult. That's not intuition telling you to stop. That's just your ego trying to keep you safe in a small life. We see wealthy environments or high-level circles and think, I don't belong there yet. But you'll never belong there if you don't walk through the door while you still feel like an outsider. The truth is, if you're the smartest or the wealthiest person in your group, you're in the wrong environment. You should actively seek out spaces where you feel inadequate, because that's exactly where the six-figure secrets are hidden. To bridge this gap, we have to stop treating money like a dirty secret and start treating it like the tool for freedom that it actually is. We need a strategy. We need to get comfortable with the friction. Here is how we start reclaiming that lost ground. The exposure therapy of high net worth environments. You cannot become what you do not see. If you only spend time in environments that mirror your current financial status, your brain thinks that's the maximum possible reality. You need to intentionally place yourself in expensive rooms, not to spend money you don't have, but to absorb the frequency of abundance. Go to the hotel lobby of a 5-star resort to answer your emails. Attend the charity gala. Observe how the people there talk about money. They don't talk about it with shame. They talk about it as a resource. You need to normalize that level of abundance so your brain stops panicking every time a large number is mentioned. The market value audit. Most women ask for what they need or what they think is fair. Powerful women ask for what the market dictates. You must detach your self-worth from your market price. Before any negotiation, you need hard data. Use the tools available, Glassdoor, PayScale, and industry reports, but don't stop there. Talk to recruiters. Ask them, for a role with my impact, what is the current budget range? When you walk into a negotiation with hard data, the fear disappears because you aren't asking for a favor. You're presenting a business case. You aren't asking for $100,000. You're stating that $100,000 is the price of the service you provide. The silence technique. In negotiations, women often feel the need to justify their ask with long-winded explanations. We say, I'd like a raise because I've been working really long hours and I think I've done a good job. No, that sounds like you're asking for permission. State your number based on your return on investment to the company, and then be silent. The first person to speak after a proposal is usually the one who loses leverage. Let the discomfort of the silence sit in the room. It shows you are not desperate, you are certain. The cost of no. We act like a no is a death sentence. In reality, a no is just the beginning of the negotiation. If your boss says they can't meet your number, don't just say okay and walk away. That's where the real work starts. Ask for the roadmap. I understand the budget is tight right now. What specific performance metrics do I need to hit over the next 6 months to make this number a reality, and can we schedule a follow-up review for that date today? You are turning a no into a not yet, and you're getting it in writing. This keeps you in the driver's seat. Training the discomfort muscle. You wouldn't try to bench press 200 pounds on your first day at the gym. Negotiation is a muscle. Start with micro rejections. Go to a store and ask for a small discount for no reason. Ask for a better table at a restaurant, even if the one they gave you is fine. The goal isn't to get the discount, it's to get used to the feeling of someone saying no and realizing that the world didn't end. Once you've survived 20 small no's, a big one doesn't feel so scary. Investing. Until it hurts a little. The discomfort of seeing a portfolio fluctuate is the tax you pay for long-term wealth. You need to set an automated investment amount that makes you a little bit nervous, a number that makes you gasp. Trust me, you will find a way to make up the difference. When you see that money leave your account, it forces you to be more creative and more aggressive in your earning. Think about the women you admire, the ones who seem to navigate high-stakes environments with ease. They weren't born with that confidence. They built it through a series of uncomfortable conversations, and by staying in rooms that made them feel small until they grew large enough to fill them. They chose the pain of growth over the pain of regret. If you are 30 years old today and you successfully negotiate an extra $10,000 in your salary, and you invest that difference, that single conversation could be worth over $500,000 by the time you retire. Is 10 minutes of feeling awkward or uncomfortable worth $500,000 to you? When you frame it that way, the fear of asking becomes secondary to the fear of losing out on your own potential. The world will not hand you what you are worth. It will hand you what you have the leverage to negotiate. Stop trying to feel confident. Confidence is the result of action, not the prerequisite. Action requires only courage, and courage is simply doing the work while you are uncomfortable. Your six-figure life is waiting for you on the other side of a conversation you're currently too afraid to have. Have it anyway. Are you willing to be the most uncomfortable person in the room if it means you never have to worry about your financial security again?